Welcome to Cooking with Deer, starring me, Tom Anzalone, and Munchkin, the drooler. Today, we'll be cutting meat medallions out of basic deer steak. The first thing that we want to do here is watching out for any kind of silver skin. And what we'll do is, on a little 45-degree angle, we're going to cut these little medallions. So when we flour them, they basically just need to be rolled over and cooked very quickly. The pieces are just as thick as a casino chip, don't have to be as large. They're almost like little thin strips. Being careful not to use the silver skin because that's where you get your toughness. And that's why you cut the little medallions. They're bite-sized pieces. They cook real fast, stay tender. Try to cut it across the grain.
What's the dog?
And basically, if you see a little silver skin, cut it off because it'll be that little chewy part. That's good. Oh, hi, we're back again. As you can see here, that we've actually cleaned off all the pieces of meat, so there's no silver skin. And there's no pieces no bigger than like 1/8 of an inch, or I should say less than 1/4 of an inch. Pieces like this. Anything that's really bite-sized. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to use a Montreal steak seasoning, which is basically like a coarse salt, pepper, garlic, just to do it with the actual raw meat without the flour. It tends to soften it up a little bit and give it that really steaky flavor. All right. Then when I do that, what I'll do is I'll take salt on fresh flour, white flour I use, you can use anything you want, okay? And then what I will do is actually take pieces of meat in clumps like this, try to put them together. Put them right in a sieve. You know, a ton of extra. Like this. And when you get about maybe a full cup, stop, and then we'll start doing the oil. All right. All right, now that we're sieving this up, we got oil going, it's nice and hot. Come on over here and take a look. And basically what I do is, I take a little drip of the meat, and it puts a little bit of a sizzle. That means the oil is ready. You don't want it to burn, catch on fire. And basically I'm just going to quickly, I'm doing half the load right now. Kind of separate them, but what you want to do is you want to be quick about it, because these really don't need to be in here long at all. We're basically going to lay them out, separate them as best as we can. Then, right from there, immediately, I start flipping them. Because I basically want to turn these to mid-rare, and because they're so thin, they keep on cooking. So, even though it's rare in the middle, within a minute of sitting outside, they will be go to medium rare, and that's the most tender way to eat these. Remember, this is a fresh meat, so there's no hormone issues or nothing like that. It's very tender meat. And so actually right from here, we're going to start yanking out. All right? We'll put them on another dry plate. I use paper plates because they're all disposable, and there's so many. You could use something else like a scooper if you wanted to do that. I'm a little lazy. Don't mind. But you can see how they're still red there, but because the oil's so hot, it's actually going to just keep on cooking it until you'll have a nice mid-rare when you're all said and done. Plus we're going to be putting in a sauce, so you really don't want to make it too tough. You know, deer is not supposed to be cooked fully, like, well. It doesn't have good flavor. It's not tender. Now, this is not a back strap. So those are the most tender pieces. This is actually just a regular steak. But nevertheless, it's still very tender. So you can imagine if you're using a tenderloin or a back strap, it's going to be even more tender. Get that extra flour off. Same thing. Always keeping an eye on that oil. You don't want it to be scorching hot, because you got to risk a fire hazard. And always stay away from the water. Remember that, water and fire. Water and oil. Hot oil there. They're never good. It's not bubbling as much as before because the other meat actually cooled it down. I'm going to keep on flipping these, and we'll be right back with the sauce. All right, now that we have our beef all cooked up, ready to go, I cleaned up, I opened up a new clean saucepan, and I put a sesame ginger marinade. That's what we're gonna go for. We're gonna do a little Asian beef. So I put together that, I put the meat in, now letting that simmer up, and once it gets a little warm, I'm gonna take some of this. Now this is a Italian lemon fettuccine. And because I don't eat a lot of pasta, I'm just going to put a little bit in there just to kind of, you know, make it a complete dish. But you could actually serve it over. I'm just going to take some that's all pre-cooked up into little pieces like this. And just to kind of put it in there, I'm just waiting for it to get a little warmer. And basically, I'm just going to put it in like so. It was a pre-cooked marinade. I added a little bit of a hot and sour soup to it, like the broth, because I like things a little more moist. Let them, you know, suck in the flavor. But something that I'm doing, this is pre-cooked, but I cooked this earlier, and just enough to, you know, not pull up all the juice, but to give it a little depth. And that's it. And then me and Munchkin are good to go for the next 3 or 4 days with this. You know, you can make a whole meal with the family if you want to serve it in one night. You can use a whole bunch of pasta. After a few days, that pasta will really just pull that juice in, so that's why we're going to add just a little bit. But that's it. Meat should be nice and tender. Serve it up. Don't boil it down. Just get it a little hotter. It's going to finish cooking off right now. Release some of that flavor, and that's it. So, happy hunting. Be safe. Wear your safety harness.